All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we got a great one for you this evening. You already know what time it is. We got the one, the only Tonez on the air. How you doing?
Yes! That was good, yeah.
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing good.
Doing all right?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing it on your end, man? I know 2020 is going crazy right now.
Yeah, man. I'm blessed, man. But how are you doing, man? You with family? Everybody's good?
Everybody's good down here, man. We're just trying to make it through with this COVID-19 stuff. You know, our country's in turmoil.
What's that? What's COVID-19? I don't know what that is. I'm messing with you, man.
Oh, I was gonna be like, where are you at, man? If you don't know where COVID is, like, I'm on my way.
Right? I'm calling from Pluto right now. Nah, what's good though, man?
And honestly, I gotta ask you though, man, because I know you're a busy guy, so I'm gonna jump like right into this interview. But I have to ask you this, man. Like, what made you decide to get into the music industry initially?
The music industry, as far as music, it was my brother, Special K from the Treacherous 3. He got me into the music part of it. Him, Kumo D, LA Sunshine, they started the Treacherous 3, and as far as the music side, as far as hip-hop goes, it was him. But the business of hip-hop, I would probably say Run DMC, LL. Those are the ones that got me into the business part of it, like music and business.
Hey, man, you can never, ever go wrong with Run DMC, man. Never can.
Right? Wasn't Run like, yo, Run was the truth, man. Everybody wanted to imitate Run back in the days. They you know, Run was, oh, man. Damn, Run. Yeah, Run was the truth, man. So it was Run DMC, like I said, LL and Houdini. That got me into the music / business part of it. But music, as far as hip hop goes, to get me into it, it was my brother, Special K. He got me into just writing lyrics and stuff.
But as for Special K and the Treacherous 3, man, what was it like actually growing up with such a legendary brother like him?
Yo, it's funny because, you know, I tell people today, and I was talking to my boy Jay Quan not too long ago. He has a channel called The Foundation on YouTube, and we talk all the time, and I was like, that's my brother. And to this day, I still, you know, when I get on the phone with him, I'm like, yo, man, I know you my brother and everything, but you Special K from the Treacherous 3, like, I'm still a fan. So it's crazy. Like, he took me to Sugar Hill Records when I was like I probably wasn't even able to cross the street yet. You know what I mean? I seen Melly Mel and Sha Rock and everybody when I was like a damn near a baby. So growing up in that situation was, oh man, it was. I can't even put it into words, man.
Hey, man, I gotta say this, man. You had one hell of an amazing mentor, man, because, you know, you most definitely tell that your work ethic within the not even the music, but also the movie industry, man.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot similar to your brothers, man. You guys are workaholics, man. You guys put in nothing but pure work.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
And, you know, when we're still on the, like, old-school hip-hop side of things, man, you actually shedded some light with me a couple days ago, man, via DM on Facebook. You sent me a picture of yourself that was actually a part of the Twin Hype music video, man.
Yeah.
I've seen that video.
Twins, yeah.
I've seen that video a few times, man. I literally was like, how did I not notice that before, you know? But I gotta ask you, what was it like actually being part of that video and working alongside Twin Hype?
Well, that whole thing came from a cat, my man Hollywood Impact. That's my boy Hollywood. He's from Jersey, and I used to send my demos out to a bunch of record labels. Same thing, same story that a lot of MCs went through from you know, from L to Kane to a lot of people. We used to copy the addresses from the vinyl, from the records we had, and send demos out. And I remember I sent a ton of demos out, and I don't know how this cat Hollywood from New Jersey, he got my demo, and you know, I did a production deal with this company that he was down with, and that's how I met Twin Hype. So it was me, Twin Hype, King Sun, an artist named L.A. Star. He was a female MC that was on Profile, and Hollywood produced all our songs. So me and Twin Hype were like homies. They still my boys. But back then, we all like did stuff together, so they got their deal first on Profile, and then I got my deal on Select. So that's basically how me and the Twins got together through Hollywood. And their DJ King Shamik, that's my family too. So when I sent you that photo, you was like, man, yo, I thought You know what I'm saying? Like, you caught that, and I was like, yeah, I was in all their videos, because their stuff came out before mine. Their stuff came out on Profile, and then I got to deal with Select, and I came out. So Twin Hype is an extended family.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like I listen to a lot of Twin Hype, man. Like their Double Barrel record is one of my favorites that they actually did. So like I watch a lot of their music videos. So when I seen that, I was like, man, I knew that was you. But it's like it doesn't click at first until someone really sheds some light on it, you know?
Yeah, that's why it's good to do these interviews, because you learn so much about MCs. Like, sometimes I watch interviews. You probably do the same thing I do. I go to YouTube and I'll see, like, Kwame do an interview. I'll see, like, you know, Fat Joe probably got the best interviews, you know, some of the best interviews ever in hip-hop. And you learn these things like, wait a minute, you was around with who? And then you go back to the video and go, oh, that was him. Like, you know what I mean? So... yeah, so the fact that you said, yo, I thought that was, you know, you thought that was me. Yeah, that was me. I was in all their videos because we was all down together. We was recording out of the same old songs, but we all recorded out of the same studio.
And I gotta shed some light on your acting side of things, man, because one movie that you did, I actually watched it a million times, man. I still got it on VHS, man. That's how much I love it, man. You actually started a movie with Tom Hanks by the name of Philadelphia.
Oh,
I have to ask you, man, what was it like being in Philadelphia, man?
Okay, all right. And you know what's funny is that, the production company I signed with and got cool with Twin Hype and everything, there was a company, I ain't gonna say the name because they wanted to be in snakes, but there was a receptionist and her name was Lorna, and Lorna was really cool, and I had, like, you know, a little crush on her or whatever, and so she knew Jonathan Demme, who was Ted Demme's, Ted Demme is the guy that ran Yo MTV Raps. And Jonathan Demme, he did Silence of the Lambs, you know, he did all these movies, and she told me that was a friend of hers, and she was like, yo, you know, I sent him your video with a brother know, and he said, yo, if you want to be in this movie Philadelphia, so they you know, I was in New York, but they took me out to Philly, and I had a chance to meet Denzel and Antonio Banderas and all of them. Yeah, but I didn't get any lines because I got, when my scenes was filmed like the last 3 weeks of the movie. So I got to be seen in it, but I wasn't saying anything because all the lines were already taken.
Hey, but either way, man, you were still in one of the most big, in my personal opinion, one of the biggest movies in the 90s, man, because that movie was such a powerful one as well, man, especially with the AIDS stuff going on around these times, you know what I mean? That was some powerful type shit.
Yeah, that movie was basically trying to, inform people about AIDS, because everybody thought, you know, AIDS was like the gay disease. What they was trying to show in there, like, yo, man, anybody can get it, even though in that movie it was based around it. It basically showed that, you know, you can get AIDS at any status in life. I don't think it was more of a sexual preference, but it was mainly about, hey, man, whether you're rich, whether you poor, whatever, you can get it. So that movie was real powerful. So even though I had, like, you know, some scenes where you could just kind of see my face, it was cool to be a part of that, man.
Most definitely, and especially with that movie, man, I also noticed as well that it was also it showed the judgmental side of things as well, you know, because in the movie Tom Hanks gets fired because he has AIDS and whatnot. People thought that you can just catch it if you walk by, so it really shows all aspects of the disease and all the stereotypes that come along with it.
And he was cool, because the last scene where he kind of passes away, I was in the room with him, like hanging out with him for a couple of hours, just talking with him. And, you know, we was talking about the whole thing, and I was just looking at him going, damn, they did a good makeup job, because you look like you're about to die while I'm talking to him, you know what I mean? But, you know, so, and no one really knew about it. We didn't know what to think about AIDS back then, you know what I'm saying? I'm you know, obviously younger than he is, and you know, we was all confused about it. So even in that movie, they didn't really know, but they was given, like, whatever information, you know, the world had, they tossed it into the movie at that time. Now, you know, we probably know everything about it, but back then, you know, it was still new. So that movie was real important.
And I got one more little question just based upon that movie. I don't want to make the whole interview based upon Philadelphia here, but when you actually were talking with Tom Hanks, man, like what kind of person was he? Was he a really really cool guy to hang out with?
Basically, it's like talking to you right now. Like, for real. Denzel was okay, but, yeah, Tom Hanks was more like just real cool. Down to earth, gave me his phone number, the whole thing. You know, we clicked real quick.
I'm gonna be honest. I always wanted to know that because he's in my top 5 favorite actors, right? So hey, it's always good to know you're one of your favorite actors is a nice guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is back then. I mean, he could be a bonehead right now for all I know, but I'm just talking about back then. He was still on the come up, and I don't know what he's like now. He might still be cool or he might not, but at that point back then, he was super cool. But I actually got along more with Antonio Banderas. We hung out pretty much for the whole 2 or 3 weeks I was in Philly. I was hanging out with him.
And also, you were a part of the documentary I Chose Life, along with Supernatural star Jared Padalecki. I have to ask you tell us a bit more about that documentary, and of course, where can our listeners actually check that out if they haven't had the opportunity to do so?
Well, they can check that out. Jackie Blue, I love Jackie. She put that whole thing together independently, just her by herself, man. And I flew out to LA and did my parts, and she had Jared do his part. And it's basically about that thing is whole. It's not about bringing awareness to suicide. It's basically like showing people that it's not just poor people that want to commit that. You could be a billionaire and still have those thoughts, and that's what that documentary is about. So you can see that on YouTube. You can catch it on. It's not you don't really have to pay to watch it. It's a free. You can catch it on YouTube.
And did you have the opportunity to actually chop it up with Jared? Like, what was he actually like?
No, I didn't get a chance to talk to him because Jackie did the interview with him, and then did it. Every interview that's in that documentary, we all did separately. And so I never got a chance to really like chop it up with him. That was, she knows more information about that. But I mean, as far as he's concerned, but I didn't get a chance to chop it up with him. But he knows what's up, though. I mean, he knows who I am. I know who he is. So it wasn't like he wasn't aware of me or I wasn't aware of him. But I didn't get a chance to talk to him.
And when we're kind of still on the supernatural side of things, man, I also noticed that you actually wrote, produced, and co-directed the vampire movie called SED Thirst, man. I have to ask you, can you tell us a bit more about that film? And of course, man, where can our listeners actually check it out or even buy themselves a copy?
Yo, that's crazy that you call it SED Thirst. No one's ever called it that before. That was an idea I had when I was like 14 years old, and it was just something that was floating around in my brain over the years, and I decided to write it out. And it's a short film. It's not a full feature film. And it's basically like this. It's a story of when I was younger. I was caught between these 2 girls back when I was a teenager. So what I did was I took a real life situation and I put like a little vampire twist on it. And I wrote the script, put it together, and I have a soundtrack for it and all of that. But it's not really up for people to really see. Like, I have some DVD copies that I send to certain people, but it's basically in festivals right now. So it's a short film. It's 15 minutes long, and there's a 10-song soundtrack that's with it. But it's in festivals right now. So it's being accepted to a lot of festivals. So as soon as it wins a few, then I'll just toss it up on YouTube for people to check out for free.
Hey, man, you know what? That's not bad. And do you know exactly what festivals are actually going to be a part of? Because I know with COVID going on, man, there's, it's like, festivals are really a catch and miss nowadays.
Well, the festivals, what they're doing now with festivals, they're doing a lot of virtual. They kind of switched it up. But a lot of festivals are not as big as you think. It's not like a theater with 700 people. A lot of it is just like small rooms with, maybe 40 or 50 people. So festivals are still going on. But the ones that are kind of big, those are the ones that are like, I get the emails like, oh, we're postponing until late next year or whenever this whole thing slows down or whatever. But the festivals are still going on.
And you also had music as well featured on the hit Fox show Bones, man. I have to ask you, what was it like working on that television show as well? Because it's Bones, man.
All of the stuff that's on TV stemmed from the Justified theme song, which I know you was going to get to at any moment.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But saying now, even the said film and everything else, all stemmed from that, from the Justified theme song. So when you just mentioned Bones, that was just a song that was, submitted to some, music directors, and they picked it. So that's basically how that happened. As far as the TV show Bones, so we had a song that was on there, and that was, due to just, submitting stuff to the music directors.
And I gotta say, man, I spent a lot of my evenings, you know what I mean, growing up there watching Bones, man. It lasted for such a long time, man. I remember had Buddy from Angel and Buffy on there, man. Such a phenomenal show, man. They don't make series like that anymore, unfortunately.
I was a big Buffy. I still watch Buffy. I still be streaming it. Like, you know what I mean? Angel was cool, but I was definitely a big, because I seen the original Buffy movie, and the star of that movie, we chop it up on Twitter and stuff, and that had Luke Perry in it and all that stuff. But then they turned that into a series. What people don't know is Buffy the Vampire Slayer was just not some series. It came from a film.
Most definitely agree. And Luke Perry, man, I gotta say, God bless his soul, man. Such a phenomenal actor.
Yeah, that was another one of those blindsided, like, we didn't see that coming.
Oh, I most definitely agree, man. Like, see, my wife, man, she loves Buffy, so she has, like, all the DVDs, so I grew up watching it as well, man, so whenever she wants to have a Buffy marathon, it's like, alright, I'll get the popcorn, you know?
Exactly, yeah, Buffy, man. See, now you're gonna make me want to go back and start streaming it again, because I stopped, like, a few months ago, but now I'm gonna go back.
Oh, man, first and foremost, I gotta say I'm sorry, man, but at the end of the series, you'll thank me after.
Got you.
But as you already mentioned earlier, man, you already know that I was gonna bring this up. I had a feeling that I was working my way up to it, man. But in 2010, you actually received an Emmy nomination for the theme song to FX Network's drama series Justified. Man, I have to ask you, what was it like being up there? Like, even though you didn't win, but still, man, you still got an Emmy nomination, man. What was it like actually being up there, getting nominated, and just being part of an amazing project?
Well, that whole thing stemmed from me and my boy Wrench. We used to do a lot of recordings back in the early 2000s. A good friend of mine, DJ JS1, who DJs for Rozelle, and he's done a lot of stuff with Premier and Coogee Rabbit, KRS One, and all of them. So that's my boy from the 90s. He took me to a studio out in Queens, Stardust Studios, and when we went out there, I met Wrench, because Wrench was an assistant engineer, and Wrench said to me, hey, man, I got a little setup, if you ever want to come out and record to Brooklyn, because I'm in the Bronx. He said, to Brooklyn, let me know, which is, you said that to a real MC. I was out there the next day at 7 a.m., like, for real, waking him up, like, yo, you should, you invited me out here, I'm here. So we recorded a bunch of stuff over the years, and he had my acapellas, and he decided to put some of my acapellas over these samples. He called me one day and said, hey, man, I got these bluegrass samples, and I'm going to chop them up and make these hip-hop beats and stuff, and do you mind if I throw your acapellas over it? I'm like, cool, as long as it's out for free, we good. And so we did that, and it floated around for a while, and somebody over at FX picked one of the songs we did called On the Run and wanted to use it for the trailer to the TV show Justified. It wasn't the theme song yet. It was just a trailer. And we had to hire these musicians to replay the music because he had samples, and they picked it for the trailer. And then they said, hey, do you think you want to try to, make a theme song for it? I was like, no problem. So me and Renz got together. We put that together in like 20 minutes, man, that theme song. And they picked it like 2 days later or a day later. And so when they chose it, I was like, wow, it didn't hit me yet. You know what I'm saying? And within that same year, they was like, yo, by the way, the song's nominated for an Emmy. I was like, what? It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Just the first season got picked for the trailer, then the theme song, then the Emmy nomination. So I was wilding out. And I'm a TV fanatic. You know what I mean? So to me, I'm going to LA just wanting to meet actors and actresses. The Emmy thing was cool, but I was like, man, I wanted to meet the people from True Blood and all of that stuff. That's what I went out there for. So to answer your question, I can't even put in words how it felt to be around that kind of thing. It's just, I can't even explain it.
and not, when you said you wanted to go meet some actors, man, and I noticed you did as well. I believe you were in 2 episodes as well. I believe you were in one in 2012 and 2013 criteria, I want to say. I could be wrong on the years.
No, I think I know I was in a few. I think 3 or 4 episodes, but I talked my way into that. Like I know Graham Yost. Shout out to Graham Yost because we was texting earlier. Graham Yost is one of the producers and stuff, and he I just hit him up and was like, yo, I want to be in the show, and he was like, I just talked my way into it, and so he set it up. So yeah, I was on a couple of episodes, and he actually, just to go back a little bit, he's one of the executive producers on my short film set, just to throw that out there. He's one of the executive producers on there. So yeah, I got a chance to be in there, and that's when I met Michael T. Williamson, who played Limehouse and Justified. He's more known for his role as Bubba in Forrest Gump, and in a bunch of other films. But that's like a real good friend of mine now. Like we like brothers now. Like we talk all the time. So yeah, I got a chance to act in there, but I talked my way into that.
Hey man, I gotta say, man, you did create the theme song, right? So I think they owed you a few episodes, man. I really think they owed you that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say they owed it to me, but I think that the fact that the only reason why they were even mentioned in the Emmys was because of the song. But it wasn't just me. Like my boy Wrench, he made the music, so I don't want to say it's all me. I mean, I did all the lyrics and the chorus and all of that, but he made the music, so it was a joint effort between me and my boy Wrench. So we did that together, and it was quick. Like it didn't take us long to put that together at all.
And it was in 2019, you actually collaborated with actress Alicia Witt for the song "My Baby Girl." I have to ask you, what's the story behind that song, and of course, how did you get connected with Alicia?
Wow, Alicia, I met years prior because she was in Justified for a couple of seasons, and I was in LA at one of the premieres one of the premieres that I actually acted in. One of the episodes, and I went out there to one of the rap parties or something, and I seen her, and I was always a fan of her anyway, from The Sopranos, from Law and Order, from all that. I was already a fan of hers, so we actually clicked right away. And when I met her, she was at the time she was with Ben Folds. I don't know if you heard of Ben Folds and Ben Folds 5. They were kind of doing their thing, and that's how we linked. And so we wound up doing music together, and I'm on her album, and she's on my album. And when it came to the Baby Girl song, that's a true story. I had an ex-girl who, she had a miscarriage, and it was a girl. So I always, always wanted a daughter. So when the miscarriage happened, she was pretty late in her pregnancy. So that happened, and I wrote that song years prior. Those lyrics on that song are not, that was like from the early 2000s. When I did that, and when I sent it to Alicia, she dove right into it, and that's how me and her did that song and did the music video.
And I also had a listener that was actually listening right now. Just shot a message shot a message to our Instagram and actually said her name's Victoria, and she actually said that she actually knows her from a TV show called Urban Legend.
Yeah, she's in Urban Legend too. Yeah, she's in Urban Legend. See, Alicia's one of those. She's super talented. She's so humble. And I texted her a little while ago too, just to let her know I was going to be on your show. But yeah, she's so humble. But as far as the actress goes, she's unbelievably talented. But she's a classical pianist, man. She's really a musician, and she's so I don't know, man. I can't put it into words, but she's super talented as far as music as well, because she looks at it like she attacks music as if she's an up and coming artist. You know what I mean? But here's this A-list actress who's on The Walking Dead and all this stuff, but she attacks music as I'm not going to use my acting leverage to just overshadow people that can really play, but she really plays live. I've got tons of video. We've done a lot of shows together, so she's super talented. So Victoria knows what's up. You know what I mean? She knows her from the Urban Legend thing, but she's also a super talented musician. And she writes her own song.
And when we're still on the Urban Legend side of things, man, see me personally, I watched that flick just for Lex Luthor, man, the individual that played as Lex Luthor in Smallville. I'm a huge Smallville fan, man. So, but it's really weird seeing that guy with hair, though. Watching it for a good like 10 seasons.
I'm not the biggest Smallville fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, I'm not the DC guy, so I don't want to, jump into that. You know what I mean? But
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a DC fan.
I can't really. Yeah, I'm Marvel to the. Yeah, I'm more Marvel, but Smallville was cool. It was alright.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm not gonna jump right into it. I'm a Marvel guy as well. That's really the only thing that DC ever created that I actually got into. Everything else is
Smallville.
Man. Smallville, honestly, yeah.
You know what? I got so much bad reviews from that. People was like, "Yo, he didn't fly until like the 3rd, 5th, 10th season." So I don't. I mean, I didn't. I wouldn't have watched it just to see him fly. I mean, we've seen Superman fly like a gazillion times, but so I don't know. I never really got into it, so I can't really speak on Smallville. So I don't know, but I do know that there's some people in it that I knew, but I don't know much about Smallville.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I watched it when I was younger because I was like a teenage kid, man. I had a really weird crush on Allison Mack, so I was like, yo, straight up.
Basically, all right, well, who didn't? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, man.
We can agree on that. I mean, I may not have watched every episode, but come on. You know what I mean? Like, who didn't rock with her?
Oh, most definitely, I agree, man. I most definitely agree on that. But I gotta say, man, like I wrote on Facebook, you are honestly a jack of all trades, man. You're not only a songwriter, a producer, an actor, an artist, but you're also an author as well, man. I also saw that you're working on a book with best-selling author Stephen Miller. Have to ask you, what can we expect from that book?
There.
Man?
I met him at a Christmas party that I went to, because I also worked with, I'm sure you was going to bring this up, but I got to tie it in, because you probably don't know this is how I met Stephen, but I met Steve through Tommy James. From Tommy James and the Shondells, I met him through, it was a Christmas party that Tommy's manager was throwing out in Jersey, and that's how I met Steve, and he actually wrote the book, from that guy from the Rascals, man. I can't think of his name right now. You probably have it in your notes. But that's how I met Steven. So he's putting a book together. Me and him are putting a book together. We like 5 or 6 chapters in. And he felt that, my life is worth talking about. People might be interested in it. So I'm like, all right. So, yeah, we put that together. I got a book coming.
Hey, if you don't mind me asking, when's the estimated release date for that? Because me personally, I wouldn't mind snagging myself a copy.
One thing I don't know about the book part of the business. I can talk about music, movies, and things like that, but I have no idea about the book. I do know books can come pretty quick, like music, but like I said, we're only in the 5th or 6th chapter. So we're talking about my life. So it might go to 80, and then he has to chop it down. So I don't know. I'm probably assuming that it'll probably be next year. I can say that. It won't be like next week. It'll most likely be like next year sometime. But it's coming.
And also, right now, you are actually currently in production on a movie. It's currently filming called The Initiation. You're playing an individual by the name of Marcus that's set to release in next year, 2021. I know you probably can't release too much information because it is still filming, but what can our listeners expect from that movie when it does get released?
That movie is a horror film, and I really can't really say anything about it, not because it's some top secret thing. It's just that, to be honest with you, I don't really have much information on it other than some actresses from the what's that horror show thing on Fox, American Horror Story. Yeah, there's a couple of actresses from there in the film, and I think Tony Todd from Candyman and stuff like that. So I really don't. To be honest with you, I signed on to do it, and I'm just waiting to find out what's happening next. So I can't really say much, only because I don't want to say something and they be like, well, that's not happening.
And most definitely, and I don't want to be the reason why you lose a gig. So we'll just
I'm not.
We'll just put it at your part of the
guy from Canada, so we're firing you. No, I'm in it. It's just I don't know what's happening because everybody in that film was coming from so many different places that I don't know, but it will be filmed in Colorado. So. I'm just waiting for that information. It's funny you brought that up because I actually, I need to, look into that more. In other words,
I see it on IMDb.
Brought it up. I'm gonna be be honest with you.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I see stuff when I do my research for interviews. I see stuff on IMDb,
Clearly,
and it
clearly
freaks me
you
out
do.
to ask,
Like
man.
I'm saying, definitely. Hell yeah.
Because some things on IMDb are never true. Like I've had situations where I had done an interview and people are like, "What are you talking about? I wasn't a part of that." So it makes me scratch my head, right? Dude, like IMDb isn't really the best source for questions, but when I seen it, I was like, you know what? Just throw it in there. What's the worst can happen, right?
No, it's all anything with me and IMDb is all real shit because I'm in control of that. Like I make sure like anything that's out there that I know I'm definitely a part of, even if I played a small part or a big part, you know, it's legit. So what you just everything you asked so far is 100% legit.
Well, it's good to know, man. You know what I mean? It's good to know that I got everything proper.
Nah, you got it, no doubt, no question.
But I gotta ask you, Tone, like, what's next for you? Like, I know you have a huge, luxurious career within movies and music, but what's next for you? Is there anything I happen to miss during this interview?
Well, actually, that we didn't touch on much is my boy Tommy James. You know, that's Tommy James from Tommy James and the Shondells from like the '60s. This guy sold 100 million records, and this year I'm on 3 songs on his album, his newest album, called Alive. So it's me, him, and Stevie Van Zandt, who's you know, the guy from Bruce Springsteen's band. And so have you ever watched The Sopranos?
Oh, most definitely. I love The Sopranos.
All right, so you know the cat from Bruce Springsteen's band that's in there. You know what I'm saying? That's in The Sopranos. Well, he plays guitar on one of the songs that I did with Tommy, and that album charted on 9 charts on the Billboard chart. So me and him have some newer stuff coming out. Me and my boy, I'm actually really cool with Artemis Powell from Lynyrd Skynyrd, if you could imagine that. You know what I'm saying? That's a homie of mine. We doing some stuff. And actually, let me ask you something, because my boy Rance from Gangsta Grass, he hit me up earlier. You know of a band called Brand Van 3000?
They kind of sound familiar, but like I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, that's because he told me to mention them because he's producing an artist, Liquid, from Brand Van 3000. I have no idea, but I guess that's a Canadian band or whatever. So I looked them up on YouTube, and they have like a pretty good following. So I just wanted to toss that out there. But my new project, I have like 2 albums. I have one that's more of the bluegrass hip hop that I've done with Wrench and the theme song for Justified. I got my homegirl Rebecca Strong, aka Bex, on there. I got Colt Ford on there. I got Twangin' Around on there. Ruby Friedman. I've got Moccasin Creek. Those are more like, you know, different genres of vocalists that I'm gonna have on that project. And of course, I'll be touring next year, even though people think touring isn't happening. It's happening. You know what I'm saying? This won't be happening like that it was, but it'll get back to the thing. But my booking agent, Kelsey Kaylane Bookings, I'll be hitting the road next year. Me and Alicia Witt going to be doing some stuff, more stuff, you know what I mean? So I've got some, some things going on for the next, for next year.
Most definitely, and I wanted to also touch base on that. I do also have a lot of promoters that do listen to my station and also the replays of my interviews. So, say if any promoters out there are actually interested in booking you for next year, how do they go about actually, inquiring to get you booked for a show?
All right, well, hold on a second, because I know Kelsey's going to hear this and go, "You better spell my name right." I will have them hit up, and we could tag this. We can tag it and everything, but I'm going to. Hold on. Let me make sure I get it right. Kaylane. Make sure her email's correct. But I have one booking agent, and it's Kaylane Bookings, but I'm going to spell it out. Because I don't want people to spell it all wrong and stuff. But I will be touring beginning of next year. So for people that want to book me for shows, they're going to go through this email I'm about to give you in a few seconds. But while I'm getting this together, because I'm trying to stall a little bit, I have, like I said, I have 2 projects coming. I have the Bluegrass Hip Hop album coming, Fargovore Part 2, and I also have a project coming that's more like hip hop, rock, and alternative. So I have a project with that. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different thing. I'm like singing over acoustic guitars. Me and my boy Tom Haney, we doing some things with that. So that's gonna be a whole different sound. I mean, I'm spitting some bars on there, but it's definitely more yeah, it's definitely more rock and
And while
alternative
you're still
sound.
digging for that interview, don't be asking when you actually were doing when you're doing that record. Is that actually a hard transition going from like being a hip hop MC to actually singing? Like I know it's probably like a weird question, but like is it really hard to actually transition into the singing alternative type stuff?
Not really, because to be honest with you, like since I'm a big music fan, it's not hard for me to do it. You know what I mean? It's not at all. Um, it's all the same kind of thing to me. But nah, to be answer your question, not hard at all.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, man. If I start singing and stuff like that, windows are gonna break, man. Like
It's a rap, huh? Like,
my
yo,
listeners
don't.
are gonna be like, nope, Outlaw Radio's a
you.
dud. We're out.
All right, let me get you this email because I talked about it. So let me, for people to know who wants to book me. All right, it's K.LAIN, like never booking at gmail.com. So it's KLeanBooking@gmail.com for anybody that wants to book me for anything as far as hosting shows, performing the shows, because I also host. Like I'll get up there and introduce other acts. You know what I mean? So it's K.LAINE booking@gmail.com if anybody wants to book me for anything, as far as that goes.
And so
I was
Tone,
scrolling for a little while. That's why I was like bringing up random stuff because I was trying to get the email together.
hey, it's all good. That's why when you talked about that album, I figured I'd touch base on that because I actually want to know because I know like individuals like yourself, man, you're very talented, of course, but with someone like me, it just sounds so hard to go from rapping to singing, right? To you it's easy, but to me it's like, damn, man, like that's really difficult.
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, it depends on your taste in music. Because since I love, like people ask me all the time, like, yo, so what do you listen to? And they expect me to say Run DMC, 50 Cent, and Scarface. But I'm like, nah. I listen to everything from Patti LaBelle to Oasis to Stevie Ray Vaughan to Janis Joplin to, Tribe Called Quest to, you know what I'm saying? Like the Houdini. Like my shit is broad. So I listen to a whole lot of stuff, different kind of stuff, and that's why it's so not easy, but that's why it's easier. It's not easy for me to actually transition, but it's a little difficult to go from rapping to singing to, earlier you asked me the question. It's not super difficult, but it's not hard in the sense of, oh my God, what am I doing? I can't do it. It's more of, man, now I got to fit these rap lyrics over this acoustic guitar. Timing-wise, it's easy, but it's a whole different energy. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like some rappers nowadays, they get a chance to work with these legendary rock stars or R&B stars, and they rapping the same like they did on their solo stuff. No, it's a different energy, man. You know what I mean? I can't do a song with Tommy James or do a song with Joan Jett and rap like I'm rapping over, just a regular hip-hop loop. It's a different vibe.
Oh yeah, most
If you're
definitely.
into it, then if you're into that kind of music and you a fan of it, it's a smoother transition. Not easier, but it's a smoother transition.
And so, Tone, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual that comes on the radio station, just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, and also your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything Tonez if they're not already doing so.
All right, well, I'm going to give a shout-out, of course, to, first of all, let me give a shout-out to Samantha Lavelle. You know what I mean? That's love right there. That's my people. So she, show her love. Wrench from Gangsta Grass, Rebecca Strong, a.k.a. Bex, DJP, Street Kings, my man More Crazy, Kayleen Bookings, of course, Tommy James, Artemis Powell, Vinny Mad Dog Lopez, who's the original drummer from Bruce Springsteen's band, Mr. Bates, Graham Yost, Ruby Speedman, Twangin' Around, Cole Ford, Ice-T, Shannon Doherty, Tara Reid, those are my peoples, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Definitely LL, that's the homie. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure I'm leaving people out, and they're probably going, say my name! But, but the whole, people, New York, Bronx, all that, everybody in New York, and especially in Canada. Shout out to my peoples in Canada. You know what I'm saying? Lady ASG, that's my homegirl out there. Molly G, those are artists out there in Canada. They're underground MCs out there in Canada, in case you didn't know.
Most definitely, man. Canadian hip hop is phenomenal, man. And one thing I don't like about Canadian hip hop, though, their tone is like, a lot of Canadian hip hop really didn't get a chance to see the worldwide status, man. It's very like, how do I put it? Like, it's very sheltered down here. You know what I mean? Not a lot of individuals really care about the hip hop scene, but of course, individuals that's in the music industry, that's into the hip hop culture, really do notice it.
Hmm. Well, I'm going to ask you, like, because Canada is almost like I look at Canada sometimes as similar to Germany and people like that. Like, you're really, really into that boom bap, like just the '90s kind of hip hop. Is it really like that out there, or do y'all have the same auto tune, trap, mumble stuff out there?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. If you want to consider Drake, you know what I mean. Like that's like Drake's kind of like that auto tune type stuff. But I do agree. We do have that boom bap type stuff. Like I live in a very rural area. Like I live in like a town with 3,000 people. So we have rednecks driving like lawnmowers down the road. It's actually pathetic. But as for the hip hop side of things, if you go into the city, it really is a more boom bap environment. Like we actually really do rap like it's the 1990s. I don't know if you heard of Classified. He's actually based out of Halifax. This
individual, you gotta send me those links though. I want to check them out.
Like this individual, he made a song called "Oh Canada," and it's pretty much explaining like what we did for Canadians. Like 'cause a lot of people they tend to bash Canada, right? So in the song, he's like, we still rap like it's the 1990s. Like he puts that into his songs. So we do rap like it's the 1990s. Joey
Badass does that too. Joey Badass and Action Bronson, they kind of do that kind of thing as well out here.
Oh, most definitely. Like we have a few artists, of course, that are really getting into the trap mumble type stuff because they want to get big. It's unfortunately you got to jump on the bandwagon if you want to, but we still do got some real rugged, raw boom bap artists out here in Canada for sure.
Well, Drake's not really like an MC in my opinion. He's a decent artist and he makes his music for the lane that he created for himself. So we don't really look at Drake like we look at a Coogee Rap or a Rakim or LL or a Kane, but as far as his popularity and doing his thing, Drake's, he's in his class by himself. You know what I'm saying? I don't dislike him at all. Like, you know what I mean? I think he made some couple of good joints.
I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to Drake, I remember him on Degrassi, you know what I mean? So it's hard for me to look at him as an artist when I picture him as Jimmy in a wheelchair, you know what I mean? So it's a little...
What happened to that guy? Was it Cardinal Official? What was this guy's name out there?
Oh, he did the song Akon, Dangerous. I think he's still doing some stuff.
No, he had like this kind of reggae kind of thing going on. I remember that dude. He was real sick out of Canada. I like that dude. I don't know whatever happened to him. It was Cardinal Official, I think that was his name. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong a little bit, but he was pretty dope out there.
I remember he did a song called Dangerous with Akon, and it blew up, and after that, he just kind of drifted off a little bit. I think he's still doing music. I think he just kind of is on the sidelines for a while.
Yeah. Well, Drake came in and just said, nope. No one's doing shit with me. You know what I'm saying? So, isn't Tory Lanez from Canada?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I like Tory Lanez. I know everybody's walling on his little crazy ass with the whole shooting shit, but that little EP he put out is dope. I don't even fuck with nobody say.
I don't know if you know about a Canadian MC by the name of P. Rain, man. He changed his name recently. I don't know exactly what he changed it to, but P. Rain was a phenomenal hip hop artist out of Toronto, Ontario, man. I remember he got caught with gun charges or something like that, and he went away for a while. He came out, changed his name, and I lost track of what he's doing, but he made this phenomenal joint called Ill Life, man. What I'll do after the interview, I'll send that off to you, man. Like, it's
send that to me, man. He probably shouldn't have changed his name if he had a following, unless he changed his name for other reasons, but, you know what I mean? He might have been locked up and found religion and said, I'm going to change my name, but industry-wise, that's probably the worst thing you could do.
I most definitely agree.
Had some buzz before that, you know what I mean?
I most definitely agree, man. But I gotta say, Tone, I don't want to keep it too long. I know you're a really busy guy, man. But I just want to say, man, first and foremost, thank you for taking the time of your busy evening, man, and coming on the radio station.
I appreciate you hitting me up, man, because I appreciate that, man. I get a lot of love out there in Canada, man. A lot of love, man. I'm gonna get love out there. I didn't even know people was rocking with me out there until like the early 2000s. When I was putting out mixtapes, they was like, "Man, we rock with you out here." So, much love to all my peoples out in Canada, man. Especially like I said before, my homegirl Lady SG, man. She's super crazy dope. I'm gonna send you some stuff on her too, man. She's real dope.
Sounds good. I'm always up for checking out some Canadian hip hop, man. Like I love Canadian hip hop, but it's really hard just to find newer MCs, man. It's really hard to find it out near me at least.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But yo, I appreciate it, man. You call me anytime, and we gonna stay in touch. This ain't one. Anybody that I do interviews with, I'll stay in touch. Like it ain't just, all right, man. See you when I do a next release. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I got you. And
hey,
if
man,
you need any props for me, if you need anything, I got you covered, man. Just holler at me. I got you.
I want to say I appreciate that, man. This is my number as well that I called you on, so if you want to save it anytime you need me for anything promotional-wise, you want to promote a movie, hell, man, just hit me up. We'll create a commercial, and I'll slap it in the station's rotation, man. I got you.
I appreciate it, man. I see you doing your thing. I see a lot of, legendary MCs on your show, so, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you showing love to not just put me on your show, but I see what you're doing. You're showing a lot of love to a lot of, MCs that probably wouldn't get the love from radio. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I love real old school hip hop, man. Like I grew up on it. And I love it. I still listen to rap. I still listen to 80s and 90s. I rap like it came out yesterday, man. Like I actually just booked DJ Hurricane a couple days ago, man.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen you. Yeah, yo, Hurricane. Yeah, I remember I used to think him and DMC were brothers back in the day.
They look a lot alike, man. It's not bad to say.
Hurricane, a legend, man.
Hurricane looks like a chubbier version of DMC. Hurricane.
Funny. I'm trying not to say that, but you said it. But yeah, but he was down with the afros. I remember the afros. But yeah, Hurricane. That's legendary, man. He DJ for the Beastie Boys. So and MC8, and that was my boy MC8 too, man.
Oh man, I gotta be honest, man. I'm a huge Beastie Boy fan, man. So when I booked him, man, I was like, hell yeah.
My first time I ever performed, the first time I ever grabbed a mic and rocked in front of a crowd was in the Bronx on Nelson Avenue in the park, and I was a little kid, and I stood on the milk crate, and I performed with MCA, and Rick Rubin was right next to him, and that was the first time I ever rapped live.
So when you say you you perform with MCA, like MCA of the Beastie Boys?
Before that was the first. I didn't even know what I was writing little raps in elementary school, but yeah, man. My first ever performance was with MCA, and keep in mind, this is MCA and Rick Rubin in the hood in the Bronx. They were the only two white dudes there, and yeah, that was my very first performance ever. Was with MCA, and Rick Rubin was literally like maybe 3 or 4 feet away from us.
And then I gotta say this, I know we were just on the midst of wrapping this up, man, but I did not know that. If you don't know, I'm gonna be honest, me as a hip hop journalist, I gotta slide into this one quickly, man. From what you can remember, because as you said, like you were like young, man. What was it like just being up there with MCA, man? Because God bless his soul.
Keep in mind, at the time, he was, I was in. All right, I'll give it to you real quick. I was in the crib, and somebody was knocking on the door, and I looked out the window. And I seen these 2 white dudes. So, of course, there's 2 white dudes at the door. And they were there to talk to Kay. And so Kay was talking to them. Now, mind you, I snuck out. I wasn't supposed to go outside. I snuck out later on that night. And it was, I think, Busy B. It was a couple of MCs out there. Maybe Grandmaster Caz, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. I'm not. I mean, we talking a long time ago. And I snuck outside, and I went around a corner, and I grabbed. And it was almost like the scene from B Street where Lee went to the. I don't know. I'm sure you've seen B Street a bunch of times, but
hell yeah.
When Lee showed up at the little abandoned house where he was doing a little party, and his brother was looking at him like, "Yo, you were supposed to be home doing your homework," kind of thing, but he went there to break dance. So I kind of did that kind of thing. So, Kay was looking at me like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing here?" But I was like, "Yo." And so I stood up on the crate, and I grabbed the mic and started rapping on some little Bow Wow type shit, and MC8 was rapping. Now, keep in mind, at the time, Beastie Boys wasn't really, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't popping yet.
That was probably when they were in the transition.
He went up there and did his participation shit, man. Like, he was like, "Everybody in the place say ho," with his scratchy voice, and later on, I started realizing, oh shit, when the License to Ill came out and all that shit, I was like, that's the dude that was on Nelson Park, and I rock with him. So yeah, so I can't really tell you what it was like because I didn't really pay much attention. Like it was just,
just 2 kids having fun in the park, man. That's why.
He was older than me, but I'm just saying. I mean, he was, yeah, man. But later on, Beastie Boys used to, they really didn't get clowned like people think. They got a lot of love in the hood, man. People love Beastie Boys in the hood. They wasn't like clowned like that. In Crush Groove, they made them look like, people were like clowning them. You know what I'm saying? But they took that personality personality they had in Crush Groove wasn't really like that live. It was a little bit like that, but it wasn't as crazy as it looked in the movie. But yeah, they got a lot of love in the streets, man, because you could tell they was really about hip hop, man. You know what I'm saying? They was really about that shit. They wasn't like fronting.
Oh man, most definitely. And first and foremost, God bless MCA Soul, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I
individual.
never seen them again ever. That was the only time I've ever seen him. I'm actually cool with. I think it's Mike, the other MC. He has his wife. Her name is Hannah. I can't think of the last name, but she's like a punk rock star. You know what I mean? And I linked up with her on Twitter, and turns out she's married to Mike from the Beastie Boys. And you know, there's a whole documentary on her. She's like a part of a band, and they was touring and everything. So small world, man.
Hey man, most definitely. The Beastie Boys, you know, MCA, Mike D, you know what I mean? All three of them individuals, man, were on my list to interview. That was one of my dream interviews, man, to get all three of them together, but, you know, God bless his soul. Maybe one day when I get up to heaven and all four of us are there, maybe we can
do something. Boutique, man, is a very slept-on album, man.
I gotta say, man, a lot of individuals hate on them for that album, man. That album was absolutely phenomenal.
That album was sick. Like, I mean, I think License to Ill was that was their debut, and it has a lot of emotional attachment to it because of the time it came out. But Paul's Boutique I still think they was ahead of their time, man.
Well, I most definitely agree. I've heard stories of people knocking that album, and I'm like, no, man, that album's phenomenal, dude. Like.
Yep. The stuff they did with Nas and Bismarck, man, come on, man.
Oh man, I remember when the stuff they did with Nas, man. They did a song actually right before MCA got diagnosed with cancer. The video was actually on YouTube.
Wasn't that song crazy? And it just like kind of came and went.
Honestly, man, it's there on YouTube. The video, it's actually phenomenal, man. I really like it, man.
I watch it every once in a while. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's just, you know, the Beastie Boys are almost like they're legendary, but not out there legendary. If that makes any sense. It's almost like they're like
kind of like a cult
nobody
movie.
wants to say it.
Kind of like one of those like cult classics. You know what I mean? Like they're legendary to a big group of people, but outside that group, people are like, you know, they're good, but. You know.
But if they show up and their names pop up, or the other two show up at an award show, they get standing ovation. So their energy is still there.
Oh man, most
you know what I mean? And that's more important than just, I guess, the notoriety part of it. It's that, when people say Beastie Boys, like Russell Simmons will tell you, License to Ill License to Ill and LL's catalog kept Def Jam alive over the past 30, 40 years.
Oh man, I most definitely agree. I also remember as well, like, they were the Beastie Boys, they weren't trying to, like, forget about, they weren't trying to forget about some of those songs, man, but the whole, like, pie in the face stuff, they were trying to get away from that, but the song just kept following them, man.
Yeah, but, but they were still dope. I mean, no one looked at them as, like, and you gotta understand, like, this is at a time where Run DMC were not known as the most lyrical guys. So all the Furious Five and the Funky Four and all those groups didn't really rock with Run DMC. They liked them, but they were saying that they was like, oh, they were whack, their lyrics were weak, but I don't know about you, but I was imitating Run in my mirror.
Yeah, man, I gotta say, man.
I was Run as far as anyone was telling me. I was like, you couldn't tell me I wasn't Run. Like,
I'm just gonna be honest, man. People that say that stuff about the Beastie Boys or Run DMC, man, they just want to be them individuals, man. They want to be them so goddamn bad. They want to actually, like, talk shit about them. But you know what? At the end of the day, man, Run DMC is Run DMC. Platinum records, millions upon millions of records sold.
First rappers on Rolling Stone. I mean, come on, man. Beastie Boys, License to Ill, one of the biggest. Everybody talking about Eminem, yeah, he cool, but Beastie Boys, the biggest. That album is one of the biggest sellers in hip hop. Period.
And if you really think about it, they actually paved the way for white MCs, man. Because that was before Vanilla Ice. That was before Eminem.
Ice is a good dude. I know people shit on Ice, and he just tosses out there. I met Ice, man. Good dude, man. Knows his hip hop. He got a raw deal. I'll be honest, that dude knows his hip hop, man. Don't believe the documentaries. You know what I'm saying? That dude is cool and he knows his shit. So I could toss it because I know me, Lenny Kravitz, a lot of other artists, gave him his props. Chuck D, they all know, like, Ice knows his shit, man. It's just, he got tossed up in the mix, and so people just hated him and didn't know why. It was just cool to hate him like Ja Rule. Let me just hate Ja Rule because it's the thing to do. You know what I mean? So,
I'm gonna be honest, man. This is the first and only time I'm ever gonna admit this on the radio station. But there's sometimes, man, when Ice Ice Baby comes on the radio or something, I'll sit back and, I won't get up and do the dance or anything, but I most definitely will rap along, man. You can't tell me everyone in this world has at least rapped along to Ice Ice Baby at least once.
Of course, man. Who doesn't? I mean, you can't. Look, let me tell you something. I'll drop this jewel on you because I know the time is running out. And actually, Alicia Witt just hit me up. She just texted me right now, so I'm gonna let her know I'm on the radio. Yeah, I remember when that song came out, it was played on NBC on Saturday, in between the Saturday morning cartoons, and everybody went outside in the Bronx and Brooklyn was like, yo, there's this white dude, he's dancing, he said something like a candle, he's like Rakim. Everybody was loving him. You know when they stopped liking him? When he was selling 1 million records a week. That's when New York and hip-hop started hating him, and that's a fact, man.
I most definitely agree on that. And also with the stuff with Suge Knight, I don't know the whole story, but Suge Knight's supposed to be dangling him over a balcony or something. I heard, I don't know too much, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but...
I'm sure he did. I mean, I'm not even, look, I'm not, I don't like using that word allegedly. I'm quite sure he probably did, but, all I can say is aside from all of that, Ice, he's a cool cat, and he's a hip-hop head, man.
He's a hip-hop head.
He's not Wikipedia, VH1 documentary learning about hip-hop. He knows his hip-hop. Like, I talked to the dude. He knows his shit, and he's really about hip-hop, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a cool cat. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that dude, but you know what I'm saying?
I gotta say, though, Tone, I appreciate you so much for coming on the radio station, even after the interview, man, dropping some Beastie Boy gems, man, because honestly... I literally in the studio, man, right behind me as we're talking here in the radio studio, I got a big giant ass Beastie Boy poster framed on my wall from the 80s, man. I'm a huge fan, so I appreciate that gem you dropped, you know what I mean? So
yeah, man.
Thank you for the interview.
My first performance was with MCA. Let that marinate in your soul for a while.
Hey, most definitely, man. And there's not very many people that can actually say their first gig was actually alongside MCA.
Well, I can tell you this much. This is the first interview where I ever talked about it. And I've done interviews for decades, and this is the first time I ever mentioned that.
Well, hey, there's a first for everything, and I gotta say thank you for making it my platform. I'm honored, man.
No doubt, B. All right, Brandon, man. Thank you, man. Anytime, when I got some new stuff, I'll send it to you. If you need any drops, if you need anything, just... If you make mixtapes, whatever, man, I got you. When I link up with Mike from Beastie Boys, I'll let him know, that you rock with him and all that. So I'll definitely, show you that love, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
All right, B.
Have yourself a wonderful night, man, and most definitely stay safe out there, man. Thank you so much, and most definitely we'll keep in touch.
Yes, sir. Peace to Canada, no doubt.